What is going on, my frosty friends? My name is Wintercasice, and welcome back to the Hayseed Knight. Alrighty, so I really wanted to play more of this game just because of the fact that God, it's so charming. I especially love the voice acting for this game. But anyways, so if you guys remember, if you guys watched part 2, where we last left off, we were at the stall trying to sell some of our blacksmith wares. We were hanging out with Eina. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. Eina? 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 I believe it's Eina. I believe so. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, we're trying to sell some stuff with her. She seemed a little distant. She seemed so quiet. I mean, she's a mute, but like she seemed very like standoffish. It was weird. Then we met her father, who's downright a jerk. And we also met Illigrab, who is awesome, and his voice is so hearty. I think him and Ader's voice actors are probably my favorite so far. It's so cool. Anyways, it didn't take Illigrab long to notice Ader's unusual reticence to speak. Which, by the way, Illigrab and Ader, like, left the stall. I don't know if they went after Eina, or if the patron or her father went after Eina. I have no idea. But we're gonna go ahead and continue just because, yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Please, don't let Red's words affect you. He's, worse today.
Wow.
There's a storm coming from the west, and it's making us old people nervous.
Actually, we're currently in a blizzard warning, so actually, I mean, a little bit more of a warning. We saw the actual effects of snow and wind, so I actually could feel, I could understand why he's nervous.
No, the patron can preach and holler all he want. That don't bother me much.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much.
I mean, I don't cry anymore at least.
Aw.
What he said to Eina, though, now that's going 2 paces past the league too far.
I agree.
So what if she can't swear the oath thing? The 3 won't get mad at her for being mute. And anyway, Eina don't gotta pass no right. It ain't like she's getting married any day soon, right?
Exactly.
There. Got it all out of your system, boy?
Yes.
You know what? All this stuff I'm saying means radish stew if I don't say it to her face. I gotta find her and make sure she's alright.
Yeah. We gotta make sure she's cool. Illigrab didn't reply to that last affirmation. He placed Ader carefully on the ground and patted his cape to straighten it.
Well, in that case, I have to go back to keeping watch on the fair. So, this is where we say goodbye for today. Hey, I'll send someone to fetch you if I see her, okay?
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you. Ader nodded resolutely. They waved goodbye to each other. I feel like Ader's a ladies' man. Ader nodded resolutely. They waved goodbye to each other, and then the buck just stood there wondering where to start looking when the bazaar was half a league from gate to gate. Oh, Jesus, that's a large bazaar. Assuming she was still in the bazaar at all. Oh, God. That's a lot of places to look.
Finally! I thought that fluffy bastard was never leaving.
Oh, it's Gioff! Gioff walked into the scene with a huge smile as the giant disappeared in the distance.
Afternoon, Mr. Bard.
Afternoon, Mr. Bird.
Oh, lad, what a face.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's a long...
Ah, not a word. Thy mien speaketh clearer than thy tongue doeth.
Why are you speaking Shakespearean?
You're hungry.
Obviously. No, that's not it.
Nah, I ain't in the mood to...
Well, I am. And I can't play a song when my stomach's growling a gazelle. Let's get some fried leaves.
You can fry leaves? How?
Sorry, Bard, I ain't got time for any of that. I gotta go look for Eina. She just ran away angry as all get out, and I know darn well if I don't go check up on her, no one's gonna...
And I thought my songs were monothematic.
That's a big word. Gioff picked the strings of his ode one by one, deep in thought, while Ader just paced around. It's 4 strings. Okay, so that's either a lute or a mandolin. I'm assuming, based on the shape, a lute, but you can never be sure.
I know just the place to look.
I don't believe you. Gioff expertly snuck through the crowds, moving with such ease that he seemed to be a little more than a shadow. He's a rogue! Oh my gosh, wait, so well, technically, I wouldn't say Ader is a knight, but... I mean, he's the Hayseed Knight. Ader did his best to keep up with him, though that was hardly an easy task when he was 1 head taller than most other deer. Why are you worried about your horns? You're taller than everybody. And plus, you're gigantic hands. The place Gyoff was looking for wasn't in the plaza itself surrounded by stalls and all their merchandise, but rather on one of the main alleys that led to the bazaar. The crowd there was bustling with life as well, but not quite in the same manner. They were all rowdy deer, pushing and cheering. A Carnme alley. Carnme is the name of the legendary deer practice of butting heads, a need that seems to run in their blood. Carnme tournaments are held for anything from deciding a come-of-age maiden's groom to settling minor disputes outside the courts, or even just for mere fun. Interesting. So Carnme is like a rite of passage, essentially. Let's see, impatient waiting between events, they often gather in narrow streets to watch the other deer fight in unsanctioned duels, leading to the birth of Carnme alleys, some of the shadiest corners of the city. Why on earth would people want to? It's like going to the gambling. It's like going to gambling corners. It's messed up, man. Carnme alleys were very different from the official sort. While killing was still very much frowned upon, there was no chivalry and no one set of rules. Oh my god! So it's like just street brawls. That's messed up, bro. There was no way of knowing if the horns were being gored with, or you were being gored with, were hygienic. There were punches and kicks and all sorts of cheats. It was chaos. And for that, and several other reasons, Eina was a huge fan of unofficial Carnme. Oh, good lord. Of course she would be. Sadly, as much as Ader jumped and pushed and yelled, she wasn't anywhere to be found.
Alas, your fair maiden is in another alley.
Now, you shush, Gyoff. Ader cast a long glance over the improvised battlegrounds, attempting to find her one last time.
That's too bad. Aina kicked some serious ass here.
Jesus, language! But yes.
Good thing she's not allowed to fight.
Yeah. Hey, no way they're gonna let it go.
A golem, Ader.
A golem? Gyoff cast a very serious look in his direction. This wasn't the first time they'd had this discussion, and it wouldn't be the last.
How many times do I gotta tell you? Aina is not a golem, Kay? She's a doe. It's just she's a
golem? A lifelike puppets created by Cephis during the Barkan Rebellion. They were built to carry specific tasks, from serving tea to... Oh, well, no way! She's not a golem! Ekan were the sole intention to mock the deer. They were destroyed during and after the Barkan Rebellion, so the ones that remained reached quite a high price among collectors. There's no way, because, like, I mean, they're lifelike puppets, but lifelike puppets don't have, like... No. I mean, I'll say golems are typically made of stone or made of mud or made of... They're not, or they can be made of flesh, but they're not puppets. Well, not puppets. They're more like mindless drones.
A bit of a weirdo.
It's albino.
Weirdo. Right. Tell me, Ader dearest, how many albino does can you name off the top of your head that can lift your heavy butt with just one hand?
Hey, the singing was unnecessary. But also on a side note, that's actually not unheard of. There are plenty of albino animals out there. They're not very well heard of, but there are plenty of albino animals out there. There are even albino humans. That's not unheard of. And also, just because an albino is strong doesn't mean nothing.
Aina! Now let's go! We gotta find her!
Why do I even bother?
I don't know why you bother.
Look at her. Golem or not, she's just a little cabbage head hiding in the crowds of this enormous city. She's damn good at hiding. And do you know why people hide?
Gyoff, you're kind of a pessimist, dude. Why do I hang out with you?
'Cause they don't want to be found.
Gyoff extended his arms towards him in a dramatic manner, remarking how correct he was.
You're not gonna find her. So why don't you go and use your thick skull for something useful? Like bringing us money so we can have dinner for once.
Hey, Mr. Musician, why don't you think about doing some singing so you can earn some money so you can buy some food? Why do I always have to be the one to get money for us? Gyoff pointed at the ring with his sword. Nope. With a heavy sigh, Ader nodded and began walking towards the ring master.
Wait, there's just one more thing. Your bag of coins. You wouldn't want to lose what little we have to the hands of, say, some ill-intentioned crook.
Bless you.
Now, would you?
Oh, bless you again. Also, no, Ader, don't give your money to Gyoff. Don't do
Better
it.
the evil you know, right?
I mean, that's fair, but still. Gyoff extended his hand a bit too keenly, waiting for Ader to find the purse He usually hid within his sash. But...
Whoa, Bard. You're really gonna bust a gut laughing.
Don't tell me you lost it.
Alrighty then.
Yoff's scrawny body trembled like a branch about to snap off.
Just go. All right.
Alright.
See that sweaty blockhead over there with the glistening fur and that charming smile? That's your foe.
Oh, God.
I'll go place my bet now. Are you feeling like a winner, ladder?
Yeah, Adder. And if you're going to call me Ladder, at least call me Lady Air.
Charming. Oh, hold up. You mean the guy with them sharpened horns?
Oh, good lord. Seriously?
Oh, darn, Bard. Your confidence in this poorly put together row is much appreciated, but as much as it hurts me, and
It does.
I think I'd rather go to bed hungry today.
Indeed.
What?
What if he hits me in the face? I don't want to go from Adder the one-eyed to Adder the no-eyed!
Accurate.
Then do enlighten me, my boy, on how in the name of the Hatsa do you pretend to become a knight if you can't handle even a rack pointed at you?
Oh, yeah? Well, how come you're trying to become a jerk who's trying to watch
No
me
wonder you
die?
can't even catch a hint. Yellow piece of mangy venison. Sorry about that.
Oh, please. Like you're sorry about that.
What are you mumbling there, Goff?
I said I'm going to walk you through this. So, oh, help me three if you mess up.
Hey, let this dog win. And a girl, you sure eat your veggies. But those sticks on your forehead, I can't fool anyone.
If he's serious, this is gonna be easier than I'd thought.
Seriously? Did this person call Adder a doe? This is not the version where I get a battle system to work either, so we're going to play pretend together and make like you won. Yay! Oh my god, we won? Well, for starters...
Oh, I can't believe it! Still alive and kicking!
By the way, guys, Sandra's
Come on,
the developer.
Show me the money, Bard! I want to bite every single coin!
I completely forgot to place the bet.
God, you idiots! Are you dumb? Yoff covered his face with his hands, making some sort of unintelligible noise that can only be described as the very sound of anger. Oh my god, you can't be mad at me! This one was your fault! I won! Did you not hear the developer? I won. Okay.
Hey, Big Ed, I want to learn some tips too. I'll buy you dinner.
Hey now, sir! You really think you're gonna steal my manager away, so...
Yoff shut Adder's snout with one hand.
My dear boy, you sure gave it all today, so why don't you go and enjoy what's left of the fair? I have a gig in the tavern later. Money, yes. Don't expect me tonight.
With that, Yoff hurriedly shooed a very confused Adder away. I know what he's doing. He's going to try to scam the drunk deer out of his money. Good job. Without any friends or anything even remotely similar to hang out with, Adder dragged his feet all around the bazaar. He had missed most of the events. After the fight, he was acutely aware of just how empty his stomach was. Adder considered that his best bet was merely walking around until he got tired and then heading home to sleep the hunger off until Eina brought him some food the next day. Eina bring some food? That's nice of her. That is, if Eina was coming back of her own volition. Then again, he'd never seen her miss a single day of work. Oh, that's so pretty. God, that art style is so good. Look at the blending colors. He wandered all over the plaza, unsure of where he was headed. And somehow he'd ended up in a place that looked all too fancy for a poor buck like him. Oh, I would understand this is fancy. This is beautiful. Then again, maybe it wasn't as fancy as it looked. It didn't look like the does around could afford many clothes. The does? Oh, females. Before the gears of his mind could add one and one, a small flickering light coming from the small tent nearby stopped Adder's train of thought. Distracted from his previous concerns about the ladies, he kept his eyes fixed on the flame in the dark. It felt it was directed at him somehow. Though he can't discard that being related to being too hungry to think, of course. I mean, being hungry will lead you to do a lot of crazy things. With nowhere better to go and nothing better to do, Adder followed his intuition and headed straight into the tent. Dusk was still a ways off, but it may as well have been midnight inside the tent. Ader combed the darkness desperately, startled by the sudden change in illumination. Bandits, assassins, mongrels. His imagination conjured a million evildoers ready to make him part with his precious cape, for that was all he had on him. An orange blur shone in the corner of Ader's sight. Its flare grew with unmeasured force, blinding him for a moment. He struggled to regain his vision, fearing those foes that only lived in his mind. Where are we? Oh, Jesus. Bathing in the light of the orb that was filled with fire, shaded in ways that made no sense whatsoever, awaited a feminine silhouette. A very feminine silhouette.
Took you long enough.
Well, hello there. It's Jacif. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. It's been a while. It's been a while since I saw you. Of course it was her.
Yeah, it's not a living.
She a belly dancer? And all of a sudden, Ader wished he had found a bandit instead. At least he would have known where to look then. He tried to fix his gaze on her eyes, shining above a thin pink veil that covered most of her face, but that was in vain. The sequins that hung from her neck reflected the light all over the room, dragging Ader's attention right back to them, and the scarf that covered the bare minimum. Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't look. I'm sorry. That would be me in when I'm around any provocative women. Just, oh. This is why nobody would ever take me to a strip club. How did the conversation get to this? I have 1,000 words to call the woman in front of him, and none of them are good. So let's just say that what she was wearing would be inappropriate now, let alone then. That says a lot. Fair enough.
Don't just stand there. Take a seat.
I don't know if you should take a seat, Ader. I think you should turn around and leave.
I don't know. I've been sitting on my tail all day, and I got places to go, and I don't usually share tents with ladies, and...
Judging by her glare, she wasn't going to take no for an answer. Uh-oh. I only get one choice? Well, if you insist.
What am I saying? It'd have been mighty ugly of me to reject an invitation.
Ader did as asked and sat down on one of the many pillows lying around. Yeah, that's me right there, pretending to be crazy, escaping, begging the gods for mercy, breaking down, and claiming that he wasn't in fact a horn eater. That was just a mistake and shouldn't be there. And for those of you who don't remember what a horn eater is, it's a deer that goes after gazelles. It's frowned upon, but not illegal. Ader's mind was bustling with ways of getting out of that situation. So of course, whenever his mind was busy, his mouth was free to speak as it pleased. Hi. He spoke with a voice more akin to that of a fawn whose antlers were just beginning to sprout than that of a fully grown deer. Well, I mean, I think that's any guy who's, like, super nervous, especially in a situation like that. Just throwing that out there. Nice place you got here. I'm Ader. We never really introduced you. I never really introduced myself.
I'm Anderson, son of Gerfath, the buck who farms the highest hill in my village, Ravina Otis. So, here and there, just about everywhere, folks know me as Ader.
Of the upper
field.
Of the upper field. Oh, God, I really do like the voice acting in this.
That's nice.
Ain't it? It better be, because it's a lie, ma'am. They call me Long Neck Short Horns, or Ader Shovel Hands, or sometimes even Ader Shoeface.
Why do they call you Shoeface? A mocking chuckle stabbed Ader's heart. Feeling even more self-conscious than he thought he was capable of, he held onto his hooves and fixed his gaze on the ground, screaming inside as his face burned.
So it wasn't the contusion after all, huh? You're just like that.
That is correct.
Like what now?
Self-pain. You just kind of shoot yourself in the leg.
Funny.
Funny?
Me? Not one bit, ma'am.
I ain't got a funny bone in my body. Doc and I ain't ever seen worse jokes than Ader scenes.
Ader Scenes. Oh, so his last name is Scenes. I think. I don't know.
Hold up. Didn't that sound like a poem just now?
Maybe. I don't know. If it's a haiku, I give you a C-.
Well, darn. A poem ain't nothing but a dull song, Mr. Bard always says so. I'd hate to bore a fine lady such as yourself, so I better get...
Run!
Bore me?
Please.
Please. With hands like those, you wouldn't look out of place in a traveling circus. Or in some lord's court, if you're any good at juggling.
Uh-oh.
In fact, I know a certain gazelle in dire need of entertainment.
Oh.
What do you say? One word from Joseph, and you will be working in a palace tonight.
What? Ader couldn't quite figure out if that was meant to be an insult or a compliment, but he was quick to decide that it was better to work for someone that didn't talk than for someone that talked about herself in third person.
I think I'm gonna pass for now, but I'll holler at you next time I'm fresh out of pride, ma'am.
A deep silence filled the tent. Ader cursed his luck and his good manners. He wanted to run away and hide, fearing that otherwise he'd commit a big mistake. The kind of mistake that would get him called a horn eater for the rest of his life. I think there's worse things than that. How about thief or murderer?
Well then, it was sure nice to see you again, but...
Would you like to know your fortune?
Oh, you're a fortune teller now. Ader turned on his heel, desperate to find out if her offer was indeed true. There was nothing that betrayed a lie in her words nor in her eyes.
Whoa! You're one of those gazelle fortune tellers? For real?
I like the look at his face, just like, whoa! Let's just say that they looked rather different back in Ader's town. Probably older, probably more wrinkled.
Well, slap my head and call me silly. I got you pegged all wrong, man. Darn right I'd love to hear it. Oh, hold up. I lost my bag of coins. I ain't got a single dollar on me, so...
Something flew into the ground right beside Ader's foot.
My bag?
You dropped it right after you crashed the first time. I meant to give it back, but since you were so bent on running through that wall...
Well, I mean, it was a sturdy wall.
You didn't steal from it, did you?
Steal what? It's just filled with rivets.
Point taken.
Aha! That means you opened it.
That proves nothing. So what? Do you know how many times people have found wallets, looked inside, and found the money? The money's there. That's all that matters.
So much for wanting to see you again. That was all. You can go now if you want.
A punch to the gut would have hurt Ader infinitely less than her words. That was kind of an insult, Ader. I have to admit, that was a little over the line. What am I doing? He thought to himself, biting the inside of his cheek. No mere thief would have returned his bag, and sad as that was, no other person would have ever gone so far for him. That is true, actually. And so he sat down once more, looking at the finely yet scarcely dressed woman in front of him with a mix of embarrassment, naivety, and just plain fear.
I don't suppose you accept rivets as payment.
That would depend on what you're paying for.
Oh.
Getting
my fortune told, please? Hey, listen, lady. I don't need you hitting on me.
Just keep them.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. I don't see... It's one of those things. I never understand culture. It's like, I mean, I've studied sociology and all that stuff, and so I do actually understand culture, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, that's kind of a dumb thing to get mad about. Just because their species are, like, deeply connected. I mean, come on. A deer and a gazelle are, like, super similar. I mean, there are some obvious differences, but it's not too far off. Joseph rested her arms over the crystal orb, leaning closer to Ader.
All right! Can you look into the ball thing and tell me how my ma and pa are doing? Did any of my little bros get married yet?
I don't think that's how the fortune telling only works on you, I think.
That's cute. But it's a reading glass, not a magic mirror.
Ah, okay. So yeah, it only tells the fortune. It doesn't. It's not like a what's the term for it? I'm trying to think of a. There's a term for a scrying orb. That's what I'm thinking of, which is like the ability to see things out there.
Right. How about the weather? Can you give them good harvests?
That's magic.
Take your prayers to the temple.
That's what to say.
Oh, darn, that won't do either. Alrighty then, how about me?
What do you see in this buck's future? I want to know what's in this buck's future. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over the voice actor. Voice actor wise, Ader, and I really like Aders, and I really like Elites. It's like really awesome voice actors. Yoff is pretty cool. Her voice acting is pretty nice too. I like them both. I do like them both. But like, God, Ader is like his naive voice is really nice. I like it a lot. And Iliad's is booming and filled with confidence.
Your future? Why would you want to know anything about that?
Life
would be boring if you knew it waits around every corner.
That is actually true. I actually agree with that 100%.
I'll read your past and justify your present.
Fair.
But I already know those things.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to be reminded and from another person's perspective.
I don't.
Her blue eyes spoke like insinuating whispers. Her fingers walked over the cobblestone ground, heading towards Adder's own hands as her face got ever so close.
For example, we could talk about why you did what you did for me then, and figure out what I could do to return the favor now.
Yeah! That face! God dang! The bells that hung from her sash rang as they hit the ground, reminding him once more of her less than modest clothing. But no, she was no dough.
I gotta insist, ma'am, that you definitely got the wrong buck. But even if I ever did anything nice for you in my life, a simple thanks is more than enough payment.
It's because he's so humble. I like that.
I guess you could use a reminder too.
Indeed. The soothsayer made no attempt to conceal her disappointment, much like no one ever made an attempt to explain to her what coming on too strong means. With apparent tedium, she grabbed the crystal orb and put it between her face, right, and Adder's. And this time she had no more pretensions than merely watching him.
Oh fire, tell me the secrets in the... Yada yada, stuff and bazaktet. I don't feel like switching languages now.
Fair. Her complete lack of professionalism made Ader feel, for once, at ease. After all, what would he do if he was indeed in front of a Siphi, one of those heinous barhand wizards from far back in time? Cry? Beg? Try to escape? Maybe. Wait, those were things he'd already thought of doing. Exactly. As Ader was considering the subtle differences in the fears he felt when talking to a girl and imagining being burnt to a crisp by a witch, she watched him. And she kept watching him. Uh-oh. And then she watched some more. But something seemed off. The gazelle shifted her eyes and squinted, lifted her head from behind the glass a few times, and finally settled on fixing her gaze on the fire again, but she seemed to be struggling. She pressed her mouth to one side, wriggling her nose, and knit her eyebrows together, closer and closer, as she focused on the orb until Ader could no longer hold his laughter back. What is going on here?
It's easier with two.
She mumbled the last part to herself, but Ader was sure that she'd said eyes. Ow. Oh, no! Oh, wait, hold on, back.
Oh, what's that? You ain't never done it with a one-eyed deer before?
Oh! Oh! Whoa! 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 Ader pressed his lips together like he wanted to make them disappear. Joseph merely rose an eyebrow. His accidental innuendo made him begin shaking from horns to hooves once more.
Screw this.
Screw it! She pushed the orb away with an exasperated sigh. Before Ader knew it, what was going on. His face was in her hands, and her face right in front of his.
I need to find out if it was you after all.
Stay still.
Stay still.
Okay. A drum beat in his ears. That was Ader's heartbeat as she stared at him so intently. There was a lump in his throat. He did his best not to tremble. His eyes, began feeling heavy, though he tried to hold his gaze. His eye, began feeling heavy. She was muttering something, words about his past, but her voice became obscured by the noise of the bells, the crackling of the fire, the sound of her own eyelashes batting against each other.
No. This can't be.
Ader opened his eyes, surprised at her sudden change of attitude. He was going to ask what was wrong, but instead he would have screamed if he could. Whoa! Two guards manifested out of thin air, one young and angry, and the other collected yet strangely alert. The young guard pointed at his assegai at Ader. Sorry this is a longer episode, by the way, guys. I'm actually, very curious about what's going on here. Making it clear that he wasn't joking around.
Just who do you think you are?
A young guard.
Who do you think I am?
That was Joseph's voice. But as much as he tried to find her, Ader couldn't see her. In fact, he couldn't even move at all.
What? You're not gonna trick me with that, scum!
What?
As I said, I'm nothing but a girl on her way home.
Exactly. Now, get off the royal pathway immediately.
Okay. Ader felt a lump in his throat as he unwillingly looked over the railings that he was leaning against.
I don't suppose you expect me to jump off the bridge.
That's pretty dark.
You're right. I'll just drag you to the dungeon and end this nonsense. Your kin shouldn't even be outside after curfew.
Okay, that's a little harsh.
My kin?
Racist!
Do you mean the girls from the Desert Rose?
The guard's face went pale all of a sudden. The older one seemed surprised in a different way. A sigh of relief was welling up inside Adder's chest, though he couldn't feel his chest at all. He was beginning to question his sanity altogether.
I assume you're familiar with that name. I'm already running late, and Miss Rochelle will be really, really worried if her favorite girl doesn't make it home before dawn. So, I thought that I could use a little shortcut.
Okay.
But only nobles can.
Tell you what, if you could make a little exception this time, I'm sure I could arrange a discount next time you visit my home.
Interesting.
Just say that Jasif sent you there.
Jasif? I mean, if you were a doe, I would consider it, but...
Yeah, but...
I don't know. I've heard a lot of things about Jasif. And I think I'd recognize someone that goes around calling herself Queen if I saw her.
I can assure you I'm...
Assure me? I'm not sure I can take a gazelle's word.
harsh.
See, maybe I can't recognize you because you're wearing too many clothes.
Okay, whoa, wait a minute. That's too far. That's not cool.
Ugh, what are you saying, you numbskull?
What? It's her job anyway if she's telling the truth. We could let her go if she pays a little toll.
Okay, see, now that's not cool. Ader felt revolted. The other guard was clearly disgusted as well.
Keep it together, Sep. It's over if you take a step back.
The guards didn't react to that sentence at all. It was like they hadn't heard her when her voice sounded loud and clear in Ader's ears. But more importantly, Sep?
I can pay in gold.
Then we'll take that too.
Really?
We? I want nothing to do with this.
I'm with the young guard.
More for me.
A smirk appeared on the guard's face, but before he could even move a muscle, a scream tore up the silence of
What
the
do you
night.
think you're doing?
Everyone turned around to look at the idiot yelling all the way down on the ground.
Think you could just bother her last because she looks good enough for second helpings and then dessert? Well, you can't, all right?
That's a nice image of
That's
Ader.
radish stew, and you'd make your mom cry if they knew. Let her go.
Ader had most certainly gone crazy, apparently.
What the hell is that Sandfur saying? Is he drunk?
No, but I guarantee you if you put the... Oh, wait, that's not gentlemanly like...
I don't know. I think he's just a horn eater like you.
No.
Who are you calling a horn eater? Just hold up there.
Ader, the pudgy version of Ader, that is, wasn't concerned with matters such as his complete lack of grace, agility, or strength. Moved by his sense of justice, he began climbing the column that led to the royal pathway. Of course, he never made it.
Hey! Are you still alive? Horn eater!
I'm not a horn eater!
You should
You-
get a check.
As if I'm going to leave you alone with her. Get that old ass back to the barracks, or I'm telling Elagrab what you just did.
Elagrab. Gosh, I'm so sorry. Elagrab. It was the older guard's turn to go pale. He lowered his helmet and began walking in the other direction. The younger guard, however, stopped a moment to look at her.
You... go home. And don't let me catch you up here again.
I agree. The guards finally disappeared in the darkness, a moment of peace, which Jasif took to look over the railing one last time. Her wannabe savior now lay unconscious on the ground after hitting his head during the fall. Yeah, very fitting. That sounds like Ader. And in spite of how miserable the scene was, Ader could feel a smile forming on her face. He finally understood that, crazy or not, he was seeing what she was seeing, and the way she saw it.
That was really nice of you. I'll make it up to you somehow.
Yeah. Noticing how high the bridge was off the ground, she quickly pulled away from the railing. Hey, this is the scene that the narrator was on at the beginning of the game.
Some other day.
Of course. Jasif turned around and began running, lest any other patrols would head her way. As she ran, Ader began feeling lightheaded. He shut his eye tightly once more, and when he opened them, he was back in the tent. Jasif updated, with the gazelle still staring at him. Not a moment had gone by. Ader had a million questions. Was that real? Was that a memory? Had he eaten something off? He had forgotten any more parts of his life due to hitting his head too hard as usual. But as he opened his mouth, he could only pronounce a single word.
Sep?
Sep? The redhead lost grasp of his face for a moment. Her ears perked up, attracting Adder's gaze, much to his chagrin? Chagrin? Towards her horns once more, she pulled her head back, disconcert forming on her expression little by little. It wasn't one of her conceited expressions, nor was there any mesmerizing superiority in her eyes. She looked honestly and utterly tiny for a moment, scared.
Where did you hear that?
In your head.
Where did I... Oh! Ma'am, you're okay! You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I heard you say it just now. But not now. It was a long time ago.
Question marks?
I was under Hirup's statue. I mean, you were, but I was you and not me because I was trying to save you, but I fell on my face and those guards laughed at me and, just how the hell did I forget any of this?
Why can't
I remember?
It's a good question. Jasif rose a hand. It was shivering.
You're a gaze reader.
A gaze reader? Question mark? Anger hit her like a wave as the shock disappeared. What?
Why didn't you say so? Get away from me!
What? What are you talking about? I'm confused. The fire in the aura began flickering erratically, casting disturbing shadows all over the tent.
Whoa, what's going on? What in the name of Atsa did I do now? Was I supposed to say something? Thank you. That's the magic word?
Do you seriously expect me to believe that you...
Hold on. Sip? It was Sip, wasn't it? Oh crap, I just went and cussed a lady out in Gazelle speak, didn't I?
She looked at him with skepticism. Her eyes squinted with barely concealed anger. She was clearly sizing him up.
No. You really don't have a clue of what you just did, do you?
No, he doesn't.
Ma'am, if I ever got a clue in my life, it wasn't today. I'm just glad you're alright and that guard is in the dungeon or dead or something.
Her expression relaxed just a little as she considered Adder's words. Our poor boy had more than enough trying to get some air into his lungs. It's fair.
Then you're telling me that you're a natural gaze reader? Do you even understand what this means?
I don't know.
Do I have to say yes or no to get out of here alive?
That's a good question. A small chuckle erased all the tension from her face. Adder felt even more confused upon seeing this. I agree. Oh god. You know, developer, if you do ever, I would very much like a sticker or something with just that face. That is so adorable. I like it a lot. Oh god, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just like if you ever release an art book or something like that, or maybe even just release some pictures and stuff like that, just solely for just the artwork's sake, I would love a picture of Adder this. This is hilarious. I just sincerely doubt that Sandra's watching all my videos, but if you are, thank you so much.
I was trying to read your gaze, but you read mine instead. It's called gaze because we invented it.
So,
it's true what they say about yellow deer. You must have Barhan blood.
Barhan blood? Barhan, that sounds familiar. I read about it somewhere. Adder would have normally disputed the last affirmation. Roe deer took pride in being real deer, no gazelle blood, not at all. Nope, 100% pure deer which does that don't have horns. But this was clearly not the moment nor the company to say that.
In Sirnar, please.
In Sirnar, please.
You read my mind.
How?
Say what? I think I'm not the funny one here, Missy.
The gazelle seemed way too amused with this development.
No. It makes so much sense. I was wondering why you spent so much time looking at my face.
I don't think that's the reason.
Hear me out. I'm sure you've always been really good at getting people's feelings, but not smart enough to actually understand them.
Accurate.
You're like some kind of savant hick. That's hilarious.
Ouch. A wrinkle formed over Adder's snout. That was quite enough.
My name is Adder, not Hick, Miss Sepp. Now why'd you go hide in such a cute little name, I wonder?
Her face went back to being a little more of a pretension of grandeur. A grandeur? But she held the fire close to her. She didn't look all that different from a child hugging her blanket, soothed by the rhythm of the bells she wore. Adder couldn't help but notice that her alarming clothes didn't even bother him anymore.
It's just a stupid nickname someone gave me. I hadn't heard it in years.
Interesting.
They call me Jacif now.
Okay. Jacif, as that disgusting guard well said, that was no average name, and much less of a Barhan.
Ain't that something like Queen in Gazelle speak?
Bazaktet. And yes, that's a valid translation. Do you have any qualms about it?
No, I don't. Ader opened his mouth, ready to speak his mind. Do I want to be daring, or do I just want to be nice? God dang. But Sep seems like such a nice name. I would like to know more of why her name is Sep.
I don't know what that word means, but I like Sep better.
I do, actually.
Sep.
Do not call me that. It's just a stupid...
Calling yourself Queen is a whole lot sillier, Sep.
Sep's lip trembled in anger, but Ader just shrugged. That's what she was got from picking on him. To be fair, the redhead tensed her whole body, and when she was about to reply, she decided instead to just look away.
Are you all right?
Well, actually, that says, "Are you okay?" But fair enough. She turned her face sharply towards him. There was something different in the way she was looking at him.
Ader, right?
Yes.
That's me.
He took a hand to his heart and bowed his head as an instinctive greeting, accidentally clashing his horns against hers. He was surprised to find out how somehow that was a lot less gross than he thought it would be. And he didn't know how to feel about this appreciation.
Didn't you want to know your future? Then listen closely.
Okay. Oh gosh. She put her mouth right next to his ear and whispered,
You're coming with me tonight.
Where?
You really are one of a kind.
Yeah.
Come to the Desert Rose when the lights are all out. My room is on the first floor, but climbing there should be easier than climbing the bridge at the very least.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Wait, climb? Room? There you go saying weird stuff again. I'm not a thief, and I'm not a hoarding...
Whoa, what just happened? Without previous warning, the fire in the orb extinguished, leaving the room in total darkness. Ader didn't even have time to feel alarmed. He felt her hands on the back of his head. The next thing he knew, her lips were over his. His mind shut up completely.
See you later.
He couldn't even stop to consider how he felt about that before the kiss was over. With his mind still in a daze, he got up and turned around to leave. Okay. For a few moments, he stood up frozen outside the tent, merely appreciating the cool dusk breeze on his fur. Okay, this actually is a good place to leave off. This is interesting. I like this a lot. This game is really nice. I always loved visual novel games just because of the fact that between how much the voice actors put in for it, the artwork that is done for it. I absolutely love the artwork in visual novel games. Most of the time, they're absolutely stunning and beautiful. This one actually, I will openly admit, is much different than most of the other visual novel games I have played in the past. Obviously, you guys know I haven't played a whole lot of visual novel games on the channel. I think I've played like 3. But this one, honestly, the art style is completely unique compared to the other ones that I've played before and after the channel started. But I will say, I definitely want to play this to completion. I believe there's only 2 chapters out right now. But I probably will. I'm still following Sandra. And again, Sandra, if you are watching this, thank you so much for not only commenting to me on Twitter, which was really, really nice. Thank you so much. And also thank you so much for making such an awesome game. This is really cool. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this, don't be afraid to leave a comment in the comment section. And not to mention, press down on that like button like there's no tomorrow. And hopefully, guys, I will get to see every single one of you in the next video. So make sure you take care and you stay frosty. I'll talk to you guys later.